You're listening to Relating with Jen Funk, where we are getting honest about the relationships that matter most. If you want stronger, more connected relationships with the people you love, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Relating with Jen Funk. I am Jen, relationship coach, and your host, and I am so glad to have you here because today is an extra special episode. To me, I am joined by one of my longtime best friends, someone who has walked with me through just about every season of life. Her name is Doran McBride, and she spent many, many years in the corporate world before realizing that she needed something deeper, something calmer, something more meaningful in her life. So she completely shifted everything. She got certified as a yoga instructor and created this entire practice around helping people reconnect with their bodies and their breath and themselves in a real and easy and super accessible way. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about on the podcast today, because here we are in December when everybody is running around. It's the busiest and the most beautiful, but also most overwhelming month of the year. And if we're not paying attention, then it can sweep us up before we even have a chance to notice and actually feel the beauty of the season. So today, Doran and I are having a great conversation about the one relationship that sets the tone for every other relationship, and that is the relationship that you have to yourself. So we're going to talk about what it actually looks like to slow down, to notice yourself, to go inward, to find pockets of peace in a season that really oftentimes feels anything but peaceful. So I can't wait for you to hear her wisdom and her energy and just her calming presence. So here is my interview with my very dear friend, Doran McBride. Well, hello, Doran. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, hi, Jen. I guess I have to call you Jen for the sake of the podcast, but I know you as Jenny, and it's awesome to see you.
Thank you. Yes, it's going to be a stretch for me to call you Doran, because for the listeners that don't know, Doran and I go way, way, way back, all the way back to 7th grade, and I have always known you as Dory. So I'll do my best to respectfully call you Doran, but I might slip up here and there, and you are welcome to call me Jenny, because I love that.
Well, you've more than earned the right to call me Dory as well. So,
okay,
yes.
Good. Thank you. So yes, such a treat to have you, because I love and adore you, but I also just love and respect what you're doing in your life right now. I knew you way back when you first started your career. You were in IT and in corporate, and then did amazing things in the education field, and then went back into corporate. And yet I just set the segment up and introduced you as a yoga instructor. So please tell everybody, how did you come to this decision? Like, that's a huge transition. So what led you to being a yoga instructor?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey for sure. 30 years in IT. I was trying to find my happy place. I had some really beautiful years, both on the academic side and on the corporate side. But ultimately, I was ready for something different, something a little bit more meaningful. So I decided to step away from that. And I was at a place of really trying to figure out what was next for me. So that was one part of it. And the other part was that I really wanted to get back in shape physically. And as you know, gymnastics was a sport I loved growing up, and it brought me so much joy and kept me in shape at the same time. But it's not the kind of sport you can keep doing when you're our age, or you shouldn't try.
Nope, certainly not. But I will throw in that you were a total badass gymnast back in the day, for sure. So I don't sell yourself short.
Well,
I bet you could
I
bet you could whip out a back tuck and no problem.
I don't think I should try that. No, ouch. Yes, but we had some fun years, didn't we?
Yes,
On
we
those
did.
wrestling mats, tumbling about. So those two things were happening at the same time, trying to figure out what was next for me, what was going to make me happy in this next stage of my life, but also ready to get back in shape. And so honestly, I went towards yoga because of the physical aspects of it, because of the asana, the movement side of yoga. What I discovered was so much more. I discovered that actually those two paths were meeting in a really beautiful way. And yoga has helped me not only get back in shape, but also really shine my light on the things that are important to me, as you talked about on last week's episode.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, that's
Talking about the getting back in shape, I recently told you, and those that are watching on YouTube can see how beautiful your arms are. So you make me want to start doing yoga every day if I can have arms like yours. So
Jenna, you're so good for the soul. Thank you.
you
You've
are
just always been
you
so
are
good for
so
the soul.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
So, I think the reason, or one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on this month as my December guest, is that December is a time I know certainly for me, for most women, I think we are running around trying to do all this shopping or trying to create this magical season, maybe for our kids, or we might have aging parents that we're trying to support, and you wonder, is this potentially the last season with them, and you want that to be
We've both
special,
unfortunately been there. We
experience
know what
that.
that is. It's stressful for
Exactly.
sure.
So
Yes.
all of that's happening for us. And I just wonder, I mean, I know I've seen it, I've witnessed it in your life and this new amazing calm and centered energy that you have. What are you seeing? Are you seeing the same thing in friends and other women? And is that our, I mean, are we all stressed, and is that our body telling us you need to really slow down?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
to
and
all that.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. So, absolutely. I mean, it shows up in all of us. This time of year, of course, can bring about more stress, but it's ever present, unfortunately, these days with all of the things going on in our world. During this time of year, specifically, we're all offering peace and joy, but it's really hard to do that if you're not really feeling calm and inner sort of connectedness. Yeah, it shows up the stress. A lot of people clench their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game changer for me during my teacher training. One of my instructors just said, relax your jaw during class one day. And I thought, oh my, wow, what a difference. And so, yeah, I see a lot of people with that clenched jaw, and that tends to spread and up towards your head. You're getting tension headaches, maybe triggering migraines, can spread down your neck and your back. A lot of people hold tension in their chest. You can feel sort of that tightness when you're wound up about something. Women, especially, hold a lot of tension in their hips as well. Yeah, so I'm sure everyone listening can relate to at least one of those physical places that your body likes to just hang on for some reason.
Absolutely. And then because I mean, I've got definitely have hip issues, but like if I'm feeling tight and holding tension there, is that the body's way of just reminding us, hey, pay attention to me. You need to slow down, because if we don't, I imagine other physical things, it's just going to compound itself. When you talk
Right.
about specifically like relaxing the jaw, does that mean that we have to sit around and let our mouths gape open? Especially for those that
Well,
are
it's really up
listening
to
and aren't watching, like what does that actually, I mean, do we just let our mouth fall open? Like how do you relax the jaw?
well, so for me, and again, this really has changed how I feel just every day. So for me, it was just thinking about this point right here, just near your earlobe,
Yeah.
top of your jawbone. Just release any tension there. Your teeth will naturally fall apart when you do that. But just think about relaxing or melting that area right there where the upper and lower jaw connect. And once you do that, then relax it even more. And you'll notice, like, wow, I was really holding on to more there than I realized. When I came back from my training, I set not an alarm. I set a very gentle chime tone to come every 2 hours during my waking hours to remind me to relax my jaw. And the first several times I did it, every time that chime would go off and I'd get to check in with my jaw, it was tight. And then pretty soon I started to realize that it wasn't as tight. And now I do check in every once in a while and it's tight, but most of the time it's not. And it's made a huge difference in how I feel
I
physically
well, I
and
love
otherwise.
yeah, and I love that you're saying that you set an alarm or a chime. That's a good point. I don't know that we want to
You
blare a
don't want to be
blaring alarm.
alarmed. No,
Relax, relax.
no, it's a good thing. You want to feel excited about getting to relax your
A
jaw.
gentle reminder. But that's great
Yeah.
because you're saying that at one point you were setting that chime, that reminder for yourself, but now you don't even need to. It's become a habit to you and you just do it regularly, I guess, throughout the day, right?
Yeah, it comes much more naturally now. Yeah, the habit changed,
Yeah.
right? So I was doing it because of the chime. And then I just started doing it on my own and it no longer needed the chime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really, and it's something that's with you all the time, right? You can do it while you're sitting in a board meeting, listening to somebody talk longer than they should. You can
Sure, people can relate to
use it
that.
as you're driving down 95. It's with you all the time. It's a tool you can gift yourself anytime.
Yeah, super accessible. So, talk a little bit about yoga changing your life. I mean, it's really like it's not just a 1 hour class a day. I mean, it's more of a lifestyle. It's become a lifestyle for you. Certainly, you're an instructor, but for those of us that aren't, what has that done in terms of your relationship with yourself?
Yeah, wow, what a question. As I mentioned, there's the physical and then the more mindful side of what I was after when I signed up for this training. I had no idea how beautifully they would work together. So for me, yoga, the asana or the movement part is really one of, in most beliefs, 8 limbs, right? And so that includes your breathing, your pranayama, it includes some mindfulness, meditation, things like that. And so I have found that it has just allowed me to connect with myself more authentically, to take the time to just breathe intentionally and to, again, I'm going to highlight your gratitude episode last week. You talked about taking the time to shine a light on what is most important to you and see how that changes things. Like that is the same thing with yoga. I'm sure you've been in a class where the teacher says, set an intention for your time on the mat
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
But basically, it's the same thing. It's what is most important to me and how can I intentionally move forward with that, shining a light on that. So, I'm sort of aware of that as I'm teaching my physical classes, but it's taking that pause, connecting with yourself. And I have found as a result, I show up more authentically. I'm more comfortable setting boundaries when I need to. And that has helped to change some unhealthy patterns in some of my relationships
Mhm.
in a really beautiful way. And so now I have deeper connections with the people I have relationships with, whether it's my spouse, my kids, my family, my friends, you. I feel a deeper connection to you since I've been doing this. And again, it doesn't have to be yoga. It doesn't have to be physically on a mat. There's so many other ways that you can connect with yourself. That's just the path that has been right for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that all sounds amazing. I think that's what all of us would want for ourselves. And it really reminds me when you're talking about connecting with yourself and honoring boundaries and showing up more authentically, that definitely impacts all of your relationships. How you show up for yourself sort of sets the tone for how you show up for the other people in your life. And I think also
Absolutely.
when we're honoring to ourselves and giving ourselves that it is a gift, right? It is a gift to be able to check in and really listen and say, what do I need right now? What feels good right now to me? When we're doing that to ourselves, it really almost sets the expectation of how we expect to be treated by other people, even.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always go back to when you're on the airplane and they say, put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And you're not going to be able to offer peace and joy or be there authentically to support and love the people that you want to support and love if you don't first take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's
Um,
such a beautiful point.
Thank you. I want to add that the word yoga actually means union, and it is initially union to yourself, to your true self, and then union to others around you and with whom you have relationships, and then union to everything. And so, yeah, but it starts right here at your heart center.
Yeah, and then union to everything is like God, universe, whatever your experience
Right.
of that is. But yeah, that connection to all things that I had no idea. So that's super cool that you pointed that out. I don't know
Yeah.
a lot of Sanskrit, so thank you.
I didn't either a year ago today. So,
Exactly, and now you do. So
yeah.
listen, again, I think everybody would want that, especially this time of year when we're really busy. Like you were saying, like we want to create peace and joy and give that to other people. But if we're not able to do that for ourselves first, we're not going to get anywhere. So let's do that. Let's talk in a real practical way of how we can help other people do it. Let's call it a holiday peace plan. Like let's
Mm.
create that for people so we can kind of
Yeah.
put it in real simple steps. I would imagine step one would just be that check-in, right? That daily check-in with yourself, how you're feeling,
Yeah.
what you want or need.
Pause to yeah, go inward just for a moment and check in. What is going on with me right now? And in my yoga, practice on the mat, I always talk about your foundation before you start moving. Set your foundation before you start movement. Make sure you've got solid footing before you go, right? So it's the same thing where you pause and you just check in. What's going on with me right now? What would best serve me right now? And the rest of it, I'm just going to let it go,
Yeah.
right? For this moment. And I'm going to honor. So it's just, yeah, checking in, whether it's daily, whether it's, as needed throughout the day. I do think that's an important first step.
Yeah, I think even just like waking up in the morning and starting the day like that would be a
Well,
lovely way to begin a day.
yes. And last week you suggested the starting your day by thinking about a few things that you are grateful for and then which of those you plan to shine your light on. So
Yeah.
what better time to maybe first pause, check in with yourself, and then set your intention and what you're going to shine your light on that day. So yeah, I think that could weave in very beautifully
Yeah,
with what you suggested.
there you go, exactly. And I mean that doesn't even take a lot of time, right? It's a few
No.
minutes to start the
And
tone of your day off beautifully. All
yep.
right, that's a great step one. So step two then, how do we actually reconnect? Right? How do we reconnect
Well,
with ourselves? You
so
check in and then what's a
as we
way to
just
do it?
talked about, especially this time of year, we're all sort of wound up, right? A little bit wound up. And so it's slowing yourself down. It's resetting your nervous system, you talked about it last week too. I can't remember the terminology, but yes, just bringing everything down, settling down. And there are so many ways to do that. Yoga is one for sure, but there are so many other simple things like we just did, relaxing your jaw,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's one idea, and I have a few more. I don't know if
Oh,
we
we'll
have time for
share.
that,
No,
but
yes, please share. So yeah,
okay. Okay.
what would be
So
another?
we talked about the jaw, and you can do that, intentionally relaxing your jaw or your shoulders or rolling the shoulders up and back and just opening your chest. But then breathing is also a huge thing that is with us all the time, and we can regulate it when we need to. So checking in with your breath, breathing in deeply through the nose, which is better for us anyway. There are more filters there, right? So breathe in gently through the nose and then breathe out like you're breathing out through a straw. All of the air out, 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 out of your lungs. Inhale again through your nose, just nice and deeply, refilling your air in your lungs. Exhale through the straw, nice and slow.
Oh, I already feel better. I only did that twice and I
Yeah.
already feel better.
Yeah. And I think, I think we all naturally do that, when you're startled by something and then you realize everything's okay. Do you ever go,
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
right?
like
I mean, I think
natural.
it's just the default that we do, but intentionally taking a moment to do that can change the course of your day. And
Yeah.
how long did that take us, Jenny? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention, but
I mean, not long.
um,
And to that end, you're saying like check in with your breath. I know sometimes I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that I can breathe in through my nose and I can breathe
mm,
slowly on an exhale, like I'm
yeah,
breathing through a straw. Do we need to count? Do we need to for a
yeah.
certain amount of counts
I
or,
mean, sure, you can. There's so many techniques,
but you
but
don't
it's
have
really what
to.
feels good for you. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I like to think about, they sitting up tall so that your lungs are as open as possible. And I like to think about recycling the air. in my lungs, deep in my lungs, blowing all of that out. Let's get fresh, new energy and air into our lungs. And so that's what I think about. And there are techniques out there. You can find hundreds of them.
Yeah.
But yes, what feels good for you is what makes the most sense for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So relaxing our jaw, breathing in and out.
I have one more quick one.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I know you have listeners, so maybe they can't see me, but if you hold your palms facing out,
and you're like shoulder level here.
About shoulder level, yeah, palms facing out. And just, nice relaxed hands here. And then just gently allow your thumb to just drift towards your palm. It's not a forced movement. Just allow it to kind of drift towards your palm. And then your fingers can gently wrap around your thumb and adjust them gently where you can. You're just giving your thumb sort of a little,
it's a little thumb
hug here. Yeah, a little thumb hug. Yeah. And so then once you're there, just gently place them in your lap. It's just really soothing.
It is.
And
it's
calming,
like,
right?
It's oddly soothing. Our little thumb
another
hugs.
another one you can do under the corporate conference table.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Nobody
if
sees
you're
that
in one of those meetings. Nobody can see it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, and you're just chilling out.
So it looks quite normal. It just looks like my hands are hanging out. You could literally do that anywhere, and nobody would know.
Absolutely.
That's perfect.
Yes. So
all right.
There's 3 ideas. There are so many more. So if listeners are interested in more, just have them reach out to me.
Awesome. So that would be our step 2 then. Those are really practical ways that we can regulate our nervous system, right? And then what
Sounds
would
good.
be a good third step?
Well, so 'tis the season, right? So why not gift yourself something? And it doesn't have to be something elaborate or expensive, right? It could be the gift of a few minutes to sit and listen to your favorite song and do nothing else but that. Listen to the lyrics, listen to the music. It could be going on an overnight by yourself. It could be sitting and eating a meal with no music or anything in the background by yourself and just letting your thoughts float wherever they want to float. Just the gift of something that will be a nice comfort for yourself. Maybe it's going on a retreat with friends or people that are in the same. I've gone on some retreats, one recently with a good friend of ours, actually.
Yeah. Our friend Jen, I'm actually having her on in January to talk about all things travel. Jen Sullivan. She's amazing. She'll be on. She'll be on next month.
That's another wonderful gift for yourself. And I know it's not always something that works at the time. There's a lot of factors, of course, with all of it, but there's so many different things that you can do. The other thing I like to think about, in addition to that, just solitude time and remembering that being alone does not equate to being lonely, right? Solitude time can be really meaningful and beautiful. But addition to that,
being alone does not equate to lonely. That sounds very lonely. Profound and important. Yeah. So I wanted to
I read that somewhere. I don't quote there. You don't.
So you didn't make that up, but I mean, most people don't think about it that way, right? Being alone and lonely are 2 different things. Yeah.
Very different. Yeah. I found them to be very different. But the second thing I would consider gifting yourself with is the gift of growth, something that you loved or something new. Like Jenny, I know you found tennis later in life and that's become a huge life passion for you. And how cool. Like there are, so many things that we can explore. And so think about what stings to you, what makes you excited, and then sign up for a class or spend a couple of hours in a quiet room and go online and learn about it or whatever, however you can do that. But growth is such a beautiful gift we can give ourselves as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And again, something very tangible and concrete, and it doesn't have to be extravagant. I love that you're pointing that out. It can be something very simple. So sadly, we're going to run out of time here, but I do want to recap and talk about the key things. Let's just recap. I know for me, like my big takeaways here is, I think the biggest one is the relationship that we have with ourselves really sets the tone for all the other relationships. That's such a big, powerful, that's just super powerful. And then the other thing is just that reminder of how do we relationship with ourselves? Well, you have to check in. You have to check in. You have to put yourself on the list, right?
And it doesn't have to be complicated. We just did it. Like you can check it off your list for today.
Yeah.
You just did it, right?
Yeah.
And, maybe it's a yoga class, which again, I just want to make sure people understand how accessible these things are. I think sometimes people pause to go to even a gentle yoga class because they're not flexible enough. Well, yoga is for everybody, for every body, right? It's you start where you are and you move forward in an intentional way, right? So you don't have to be at some place before you can take advantage of these things. They're very accessible and simple, as we just hopefully demonstrated. So
Yeah. Well, the other thing I was thinking when you said that, you're sitting there in your beautiful yoga studio and it's a small intimate space. And I know a lot of people, like you said, it's whatever level that you're at. Sometimes people hesitate to go to classes because oh my gosh, they're holding their pose longer than me and I can't touch my toes and this person can or whatever. And it's such a beautiful space that you have there. Now you obviously do local classes in Richmond,
it's
Virginia.
pretty
It
small.
is.
Yeah,
So
it's very small in
so
here.
obviously you can be very individual there as well, but people don't have to always choose a big class and where
No.
you feel inclined to compare yourself because it's really about your personal journey and your
Yep.
steps forward. It's not about anybody else in the class.
Absolutely. And I'm currently teaching a couple of online live classes as
Oh,
well. And so keep your camera off and yeah. So if people are interested in that, I can share information
yeah.
on that as well. But yeah, it doesn't have to be yoga as well, right? But whatever it is, don't hesitate because you don't feel like you are qualified. Everyone is qualified to check in with themselves and to reconnect and you'll find, I think, that you are better able to then connect with others around you.
Yeah. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
tell how do we reach you? It's the best way to contact you if people want to know about your classes and what you
Yeah,
have to
I
offer.
I think at this point, good old fashioned email is the way we're going to go. So it's yoga with Doran M at gmail.com.
And
And
Doran
I
is
will,
Doran and then M. Yeah.
yes, M. Yep. Yeah, I will add you to my email list, my newsletter that goes out periodically. And I will also share links to my online classes, which are currently weekly, twice a week, weekly, and pay what you can sort of model. So I would love for anyone to join me for those as well.
That's awesome. Well, I will definitely put your email address in the show notes. And again, everybody, if you're interested, shoot Doran an email. You'll be on the newsletter list, which is very thorough and definitely gives your full schedule because, of course, I'm on that list. So I love it. Any parting words before we wrap up?
I think just again, don't let these things intimidate you. We didn't touch much on meditation,
Oh my gosh,
Jen, but
yeah,
I
whole
hope we will at some point because I think it's sort of a, I don't know, people associate something with meditation sometimes. It's really just a matter of slowing down, clearing your mind of thoughts and breathing.
yeah.
And sometimes some really cool things happen as a result. But if nothing else, it's just a beautiful way to just slow down and do exactly what we're talking about today. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you and some of your classes that I have done, you have done some guided imagery stuff. I mean, that is meditation, right? When you're
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I am one of those people that think of meditation as like this really very difficult thing. And so when I have allowed you to walk me through that, the cool thing is like I still feel like I don't do that really well, but just having the permission to kind of, if your mind wanders, great. And then you just sort of bring it
Yeah.
back. Like it's
Yeah.
not as hard as I once thought, but meditation is a whole nother, like
It
a
is.
whole nother part, but would be amazing. You should come back and we should have a whole episode on the benefits of meditation and like how to really
I would love
make
that.
people
I would
that
love that.
don't think that they can have you explain to us why
Yeah. And
actually you can.
again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a long period of time. It can be 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and it can be very simple. It can be very similar to what we've done today. So I would love that. And my goal is to help make some of these things just more accessible for people, whether they're in the corporate setting or they're going through transitions in life or, even grieving. I have found yoga has been helpful for me in grieving,
Yeah.
and just because, things can be heavy and light at the same time. There's balance in there
Yeah.
somewhere. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah,
I'm
for another conversation.
Yeah,
But
totally. But I'm hearing all that. It's like anybody that's seeking more peace around
Yeah.
whatever, you know,
Yep.
because
Absolutely.
that starts inside of us. If we have a
Mhm.
different, we'll experience the holidays and the busy of the
Mhm.
season in a different
Mhm.
way if we are different in here,
Absolutely. You
and
will be way more able to offer peace and joy authentically to those around you.
there you go.
Yes,
If
if
you've
you
got
do that.
a
So,
little more inside yourself. Well,
yeah.
thank you. This has been, it's
Yeah.
such a joy to see you all the ways.
You too, Jenny.
But
Oh,
I love you and have so much just mad respect for you and this incredible change that you've made in your life that obviously is serving you so well and those around you. And I'm just lucky to be one of those people that get to be around you.
well, right back at you. And thank you for the gift that you're giving all of us with this podcast. And yeah, just for sharing your gift and for finding what brings you joy. I see it. I see it in you, and that makes me very happy.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right, hon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope that you guys enjoyed that conversation with Doran and that it gave you a minute just to slow down, take a deep breath, enjoy the season, and not just rush through it. And remember to put your own self on your list because your peace matters, especially this time of year when sometimes peace is like the hardest thing we can find in the month of December because we're so busy. So don't forget that holiday peace plan and those 3 steps. Check in with yourself, regulate and reconnect through those great exercises that Doran gave us, and do something small for yourself every day. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone that you think would appreciate it. Please like or subscribe, hit the little bell, I think, if you're on YouTube, all of those things that you would do to support a podcast. It helps other people find it and helps me keep making more episodes for you to enjoy. So, till next time, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me on Relating with Jen Funk. To find out how we can work together and get free resources to strengthen your relationships, head to jenfunkcoaching.com and sign up for my newsletter. Till then, stay connected, stay encouraged, and I'll see you next week.